Hey everybody, welcome back to the Crown of Command Games. This is kind of a studio update this time. But first I want to wish everybody a very prosperous 2025 going forward. I really feel positivity in the air, which is great. I really feel that 2025 is going to bring some great things for us personally and in the hobby. And of course to the channel, where it's all at now. You know, the nostalgia buzz is alive and well, and I'm still hyped. After all these years of playing the nostalgia games, I'm still really hyped about it. So that's really good. The energy's still there, the desire's still there to bring and produce videos, to paint models. I can't think of any other project that I've ever undertaken that's given me so much joy in painting these old lead models. So it's been wonderful to come back, and I really wanted to thank everybody for their support, their comments, their likes. They're the most important thing to me. Knowing that, you know, when I produce a video and get it out there, that the feedback I get is, and I like to say it's almost 100% positive, and that they say something like, oh yeah, I remember this game, I played it back when I was a kid, or I got this sitting in the loft and I need to get it out and drag it out and dust it off and play it again, or they've never seen it played before. I hope I can bring back more games like that to you guys throughout the year, and we can sort of change up a little bit, bring some new different systems. I would love to bring Oldhammer to the channel. We do a lot of Herohammer focused stuff. I'd like to bring Oldhammer, like the Ansel era, to the channel at some point. We're going to start with that with a chance meeting with Max yesterday, playing Adeptus Titanicus, the very first edition. And wow, what a great game that is. I got to play and sample the out-of-the-box contents game, how the rules played there, and also the advanced rules, which came out with the Codex Titanicus supplement from White Dwarf and other White Dwarf related materials. And it really made a game that was really quite in-depth and very entertaining, and had us laughing the whole way. So it was really good fun. I really hope to play more of those games with Max in the future and build my own Adeptus Titanicus group together, probably of I think they're the Iron Skulls, I think, featured in the Blood Angels for Space Marine 2nd edition and that kind of thing. So, you know, all the red armor with the Iron Skulls with the T-shaped emblem, that kind of thing. Again, I'm sort of new to it, so I'm sort of learning stuff myself, and when I saw it yesterday, I said to Max, it's like looking at something new for the very first time, because I've never seen it before. So looking at the box, looking at the buildings, and of course I've seen the Titans before, but the rules and a lot of the artwork I haven't seen before, so it was a really nice experience. So I want to really bring back Oldhammer and deliver that to the channel this year in some ways, in some forms and formats. Maybe looking at a book, maybe going through some of the rules. Again, I'm not clued up on Oldhammer. I'm going to bring some content to the podcast on Oldhammer, like Warhammer Fantasy Battle mainly. They were the images that really got me into playing and getting into Games Workshop and painting miniatures in the very first place. So that's sort of the era I want to go back to and touch on. So actually playing my very first game of Warhammer Fantasy 3rd edition would be amazing to do, and that's kind of like a tick on the bucket list. So I've got another mate and patron of mine, Emil in Australia, who's going to help us out being a GM, possibly for a siege game. I've got the Mighty Fortress Castle down here to paint and do up. I just want to play a standard game, you know, pitch battle. I've got a secret project that's being shipped now from Australia. Cost me a bloody fortune, but I hope it was worth it. That's part of a couple of different projects that will tie it all together, but I'll reveal that in the video when I get it, and I can unbox it and show you and everything. So I'm really looking forward to that. That was kind of exciting. It sort of came up and popped up, and thought, okay, why not? Let's take a gamble. The wife will just kill me otherwise, or divorce me or whatever. We've got epic stuff to come. You can probably just see a little bit in the corner there on my table, a little bit of glimpse, a bit of a sneak peek, but you can see a bit of red, you can see a bit of green. Well, the green are the Orcs and the red are the Blood Angels, and there's a bit of yellow on the other side, which you haven't seen yet, but I'm making videos on that as a restoration project. That was kind of a secret project that I was working on. I sort of let loose, or let it slip out in one of the Splatter Natters the other day with Danny and Johnny. and I think 80 was there as well, 80 Wood. And so it was such a huge project that I realized that I should just do it in 3 individual videos or 4, where I just break down each faction, how I painted it, and I'm using TT Combat Paints to give them a shout out as well. So just to show you can paint with TT Combat Paints to get the same look to the old miniatures, in the same way. So, nostalgically looking at using different paint ranges. I'm a Vallejo guy through and through, but I thought I'd just branch out and try something else different, and they were very kind and sending me some samples to try out for the channel. So that's coming in abundance. Epic for sure, my favorite game of all time. And Adeptus Titanicus is another classic game that I really hope to bring more of. I know me and Max want to play 2nd edition. He's never played 2nd edition before. So he's a real Oldhammer guy, really. He only plays sort of the Oldhammer editions, like 1st edition Space Hulk. I hope to bring that to the channel. Ultramarines, the box game, that was my 2nd game after Hero Quest, which I love. He's got that. Very jealous. But yeah, I really hope that he gets those painted up, the Marines painted up, so we can play that and film that for the channel at some point in the future. Because I love all that. I love all the Oldhammer stuff, the artwork, the games, the silly rules, the silly templates and everything. I love all that sort of stuff. I love the Red era, but I kind of like the Oldhammer era when it sort of just transitioned to the Herohammer era. So when I just got into it, so my first White Dwarf was 147, which featured the Empire, which is something I'm working on now. I'm going to bring some videos to showcase what I'm working on for the Gathering of Mighty Painters Part 2. That's like a painting challenge that's run on Facebook. But I'm really excited about, reliving my youth through looking at these models and painting them when I first saw them as like a 17-year-old, in the White Dwarf magazine. And never having the skill or the knowledge of how to do that, but now reliving that time through those miniatures is really nice. And also doing some Epic Elder, another one that was featured in that issue. So I get to do both this year. So yeah, lots of exciting stuff to do. I hope to maybe start another Army for Fantasy battle again this year. Let's see how time goes, because we all know that 12 months ain't going to last long. Before we know it, we're back here for another studio update for 2026. So we know how things go. I look at it as, battle reports at least once a month, so that's 12 battle reports over the year. We hope to have Storm of Vengeance featured. That's the only sole 2nd edition campaign box set. I don't know why. They just didn't think it's commercially viable for them to produce more and more of these sets, which is a real shame. I think if they had Imperial Guard versus Tyranids, something like that would have been really fun to see. But we have the Dark Angels, that's Paul's army versus my Orcs, and the Splatternatter that the live streams are doing now with Danny and Johnny. A really nice way for me to just sit back and say, okay, these 3 hours, I'm just going to paint something for a battle report, a project, for a painting competition or a challenge or whatever. So I can just concentrate doing my own stuff rather than doing work stuff. That's been something I have to assess through the year as well, because I've been doing a lot of work stuff in terms of commissions for eavylead Studios, but very, very little for my stuff. So I really need to find that balance of, maybe working harder, I don't know. My wife seems to crack the whip harder and harder, but it doesn't seem to produce more and more. And I need to sleep. So, but thanks to my patrons, enormously thank them. I've got a new sponsor, which is Scott at Black Arrow Minis, sponsoring the channel. So shout out to him at blackarrowminis.com. Go and check him out, because he does some really great secondhand models that you can pick up. I've grabbed some stuff here. Again, that'll be another video. I want to show you guys what I picked up from Scott. Some awesome epic stuff. He's got a ton of dwarves and empire stuff, which if I won the lottery, I'll be going straight to his store and just picking up a whole slew of that stuff. But yeah, like I said, it looks like a prosperous year for 2025. Lots of great projects we're going to start and hopefully realize this year. And again, I just want to thank you for your support wholeheartedly. For your likes and subscriptions and comments. I really appreciate it. And I just hope I can return that favor to you guys and my patrons with loads and loads of content. Now, as you know, producing a battle report, well, if you don't know, it just takes a bloody long time. To be quite honest with you, that's like hours and hours and days. You're talking about days. You could do a week before you see an entire video being produced and released for YouTube in the format that it is now. Now, I made that change of format because I really liked how Ed presented his stuff on minisodes, and I've always wanted to do like sort of a more narrative style type battle report, and I really liked how he presented his stuff. So I just took a cue from him and thought, okay, I'm going to try it and see how it goes, and it hasn't changed since then. So, but it does take a lot of time in editing, formatting, doing the voiceovers, all that kind of stuff. It takes a long time, but at the end, I think it's resulted in a better quality of production, and it gives you this immersive feeling of being involved in the game. It showcases the models better, which I really like. You get to see the models in closer detail, and I kind of like that aspect to it. Also, it helps me as being a commission painter to sell off my my work. To say, if you want commission painting, this is what it's going to look like when you get it. This is the army that it's going to look like. So that's really important for me. So it works both ways. So yeah, loads of stuff to bring. I should really stop this video and start working because I've got so much stuff to just keep doing at the moment. Now, the very first video I think I'll bring out will be about this. Now, this is a made-to-order orc shaman on Wyvern, and if you're lucky enough to pick one of those up during the time for that very short window when these are available, then lucky you. I had the help because I was totally broke, and I had a help from a patron who kindly sent me one of these. Because I was actually going to sell or trade my my other one that I had, because I've already got this model many years ago, back in the I don't know, early 2000s. It's one of the softer type metal ones, and it started drooping and sagging and breaking many parts. And I had Kev Adams sculpt me a new face and everything on this guy, and I was willing just to trade it just to get one of these, because I just didn't have any spare cash at the time when this thing was available. But one of my patrons kindly sent me one, but in return he asked if I could do a video on assembling and painting this big beautiful beast. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to fulfill my pledge and promise to him in delivering a video series on this very one classic model. And this classic model will be used in a number of different battle reports and things for the Crown of Command as well. So I really wanted the genuine stuff. I'm all about the genuine models and everything like that. As much as I love all the proxy models and companies making wonderful miniatures now, for me, I really want the genuine article. So I've had to trade other stuff to get the original things, like the Black Orcs my original Heartbreaker Orcs are gone. I just traded them for the original Perry Black Orcs, which I'm really happy with now. And I've got some other Orc stuff. It might be the year of the Orc actually this year, because I've got so many Orc models to paint up and everything. So the first video that will drop, because I want to make more practical, easy videos that are easy for me to edit, but it gives you more content. And that's sort of something that's been on my mind really recently. It's like, I produce these big videos that take such a long time to make. How about we just make some more simple, practical videos that are easy for me to produce, and that way you've got some regular content all the time. Hopefully once a week I can deliver something, either a Splatter Natter live stream or one of these videos, doing hobby-related stuff, terrain building, looking at a project like a campaign we're going to start, all those kind of things. So, and then I also thought about, when we do the campaigns like Storm of Vengeance, have the podcast. So it's Crown of Command Podcast. If you've never heard of it, go and check it out on Spotify or whatever. And, having someone talk about the background to the first scenario and the campaign itself, and then have the video linking that up. So you get the primer first, you get to hear all about the scenario itself, the main players in it, why the Orcs and Dark Angels are there, what are their motivations and that kind of thing. What are their goals and objectives and victory points, blah, 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 and then presenting that as a video later. So I think that'd be really nice to sort of join those together. So if you haven't listened to the podcast, go and check it out, because there's a lot of great content on there for deep dives. We did 3 undead videos thanks to Owen Staten, our Welsh Warhammer chronicler. You've probably heard his voice on many of my productions, especially for Warhammer, and for the Tears of Aisha series and Hero Quest and all that kind of thing. He did a great series of Bill King stories recently for Christmas, and he did his own deep dive, personal deep dive in the Undead book. And I've got Dave Gilson, Matthias Hedstrom, and Marek from Poland doing another series of deep dives on the army books. And Dave will look at the 3rd edition army list from the Warhammer armies and then compare it to the 4th edition army book and how they correlated together, and what changed, what didn't change, and then they talk about the units and characters and all that kind of stuff. They're really enriching 2-hour listen while you're painting. So if you're looking for content, go and check that out. If you want to hear me blabber on for 30-40 minutes, you can check out my Patreon. I've got Gork Talk, which is a completely free, open to the public podcast. I just talk about stuff like this, what's going to happen, what's coming up, what projects I've got kicking around my head, what miniatures I'm painting, what commissions I'm taking on, what guests I'm going to interview for the podcast, all that kind of stuff. So if that interests you, check out Patreon. The links are down below in the video description. Click on that. You can become a free member. Cost you nothing. You've got access to a load of content. Okay, guys. So I'm not trying to sell you anything here. I'm just let you know, if you want free content, it's there. Okay. And another big thing that's going to take up my time is the Herohammer Fanzine. Now, the fanzine sort of stopped some years ago because people's lives obviously got more busier and the pandemic ended and everything went back to normal. With the help of my good friend Angel in Spain, we're going to bring that back in some form, some format. It's going to be free, so it'll cost you nothing to get it. It's going to be contributions from people from all around the world who are passionate about this era of the hobby, with wargaming articles, with hobby sort of showcases on their miniatures, and product reviews of sort of modern 3D sculptors or designers or what have you, maybe terrain designers like Dr. Spork there with his wonderful terrain designs. We're just going to just fill it with content, so you battle reports, of course, as well, and that way you can access it for free, download it, print it out as a physical copy if you wanted to. And so that's going to be really taxing on my time this year. So if you don't see a lot of battle reports coming out every week, I'm really sorry. It's just going to be tying up a lot of my time to do that. But in the meantime, I hope to do some other practical hobby videos, sitting down here, talking about something, talking about a campaign we're going to run, talking about the miniatures, looking at the miniatures. I think a lot of people like just looking at the models. Look, guys, I've taken several attempts to do this video. not doing this again, and I haven't sworn once, which is amazing. Might be a new thing for 2025. No, I haven't had a drink, so it's amazing, isn't it? But look, I'll leave you to it, guys. Thank you so much again for liking, commenting on the videos, showing your support, showing your enthusiasm, encouraging me to just keep doing what I'm doing. That's most important, because if no one watched, maybe I just would give up. Maybe I'll just go back to just playing games without filming them, and just having a good old time. I'm having a great time filming and playing them and showing them, but for my patrons, for people who are supporting the channel, I want to give them as much as I can for the time I've got. Let's face it, I've got good 10-15 years in me before I can lose my eyesight. They're dwindling already, so whatever I've got left, I'll give it to you guys. Okay, so thanks again for your support for this year. Let's kick ass in 2025. Let's bring out the best content we possibly can. I think the videos are incrementally getting better and better. I'm learning things as I go, and I just want to deliver the best content I can for Oldhammer, Herohammer, that I can possibly do for you guys. Okay, until next time, thanks again for watching, and we'll be bringing this Bonza build of this beautiful bastard very soon. Okay, take care.